Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Carfax, where we are going through our Tarot 101 series. Today's card is the Hangman. I said I was going to stop saying that I like all the cards in the tarot, so I just won't say it. All right, look. Upright. Okay, this card a lot of the time represents shit moving in slow motion or waiting around. For me, in certain instances, it's a spider on the windshield. How interesting. For me, this card popping up definitely asks me, or tells me really, it asks me not to rush. Can't really tell me too much of nothing, but it asks me a lot of times not to rush. Wait and let shit play out, and use your time wisely in the meantime. It basically comes up to just be like, all right, look, shit is going on out of your control, maybe, and if things are going on that are out of your control, then just be patient enough to let things play out. And in the meantime, in between time, don't be doing shit that's counterproductive. Use your time wisely, right? Do what you can with the time that you have, and let that be enough. Let all you can do be enough. Okay. It pops up to tell me in a lot of cases to expect delays, but to also remember that delay doesn't mean the end. It doesn't mean no. It just means not yet. It typically shows up, and in a lot of cases, when you're being delayed, it's frustrating. So it shows up to depict a time of frustration with progress. But some progress is still progress. So keep that in mind. It is a reminder for me to allow a space for grace for myself while things transition or sort themselves out, right? In regards to your home, it might talk about, you might have thought you was going to move by a certain time period and you're not. You might have had a certain plan for yourself and it's just not quite going according to schedule. Things are not quite going according to plan, okay? When it comes to your relationships, it tells you to pour into the things that are worth pouring into. For example, yourself, okay? Pour your time and energy into bettering yourself, into loving yourself, into molding yourself, into yourself, okay? Let love unfold the way that it should, even if that means it unfolds without the person in question, okay? What's best typically should be decided in the time of delays, in the time of unsurety, okay? In regards to your money, wait on signing off on shit. Wait on the right decisions. Give yourself enough time. There's a flying ant over there. How interesting. Anyway, ants symbolize hard work, right? When it comes to ants, though, they know, okay, I can't carry this whole thing, even though ants are capable of carrying things that are like 5 to 10 times their size, if I'm not mistaken. They also know, okay, I can't quite do this by myself, so I'm gonna have to leave that there. I'm gonna have to wait on that for a minute and go get the crew. 333 when I look up. Go get the crew and we can come back and tackle this, no problem. You feel me? When the Hangman comes up, it's specifically telling you in regards to your money, spend your money wisely. So if that means holding on to it for a minute, that's what that means. Know that you're protected in what it is that's going on, specifically when it's upright, but don't rush, okay? Delay and irritation are possible if you rush it, okay? So just wait, right? Reversed, it could depict, I just heard waiting around. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Your paint to dry? What are you waiting for? You feel me? It depicts a victim mindset and rigid thinking. It could depict you needing to revise your expectations. So are your expectations based off reality or fantasy? Are you going off of what can be created because of what's presented itself to you, or what you want to be created based off of what you want, your own personal desires? You feel me? When the Hangman is reversed, it asks you, quite frequently, are you hanging on to fantasy and waiting for miracles? There can be miracles when you believe. Yeah. But also, faith without works is dead. Two things can be true at once. So, what's going on? What take inventory. Take a good hard look at what is, and let's figure out why we reversed here. Okay, you see what I'm saying? When it's reversed, it asks you a lot of the time to get out of situations or to let go of situations that no longer serve you because they're familiar. When the Hangman is reversed, he talks a lot about holding on to things for familiarity's sake or for comfort's sake, and not necessarily because they need to be held on to. It depicts staying too long or making too many excuses for other people's bad behavior, and it asks you why you doing it. Why are you doing that? You see what I'm saying? Overall, the card depicts using your time wisely. Period. Things are going to take time. Upright. Delay is a thing overall. And overall, like I said, the card asks you to use your time wisely, to really take stock and take inventory, and don't rush. Don't be in such a rush for things to happen that you fuck yourself up, trip yourself up. I just heard it's giving the tortoise and the hare. Be the tortoise. Okay. That's all in our Tarot 101 series for today. Hangman is pretty short and sweet, truly, when it comes down to it. Another thing too, I noticed when it comes to the Hangman, if you look at him, he's got all that wood, and when I see all that wood, I typically see wands. When I see wands, I think actions. Okay, so the Hangman is tied to your actions, period. Okay, when it comes to the tarot, each suit represents a different thing, and you'll find different aspects of the different things in each card. For example, when you see the star card, you notice the water, and when you think of stars, you think of the sky. So this is air, right? Water translates further down the line in the tarot to the cups. The cups represent your feelings and emotions. The star, okay, in a lot of times for me, it depicts air, which also goes back to the wands again for me personally, and your wands represent your actions. So that's just another little tidbit, another little something that helps with learning for me personally. But that's all for our Tarot 101 series today. That was the Hangman. Next up in our series will be the Death card, which I find to be a very interesting card as well, much like the rest of them. Either way, that's all for now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Until next time, baby, have a great day.